thank you again for invitation to this pitch today. I'm excited to introduce PayByFace, where your face becomes a virtual card. So we all know, the situation post-COVID. I don't need to get into that, but merchants are hurting, trying to build their customer loyalty, improve the safety measures, and create the trust again with their consumers that they lost completely during COVID. So businesses are really struggling. So we built a pretty cool platform-agnostic biometric payment system that can facilitate checkout process completely hands-free. Like you see in the video there, I just bought a cup of coffee without touching anything and just having my face scanned. So we've basically converted cards, and we've done tokenization on Visa, MasterCard, so that now you can have a virtual wallet and easily, do frictionless loyalty programs, earn and redeem loyalty points without, having to fill anything out. We've built some pretty cool user privacy controls since we're a GDPR company, and I'll cover this later. And we can do some pretty cool things, gamification with augmented reality. You can't see it in the video there, but I actually have a VR mask on my face with some, a character. And then, of course, the iPad works as digital signage for the business to promote its own services when the tablet is not being used for payment. Creating an account is super easy. Our apps are available in Google Play and Android App Store, in Android App Store and iOS, iPhone App Store. You just download the user wallet app, you add your card, you can set your PIN, and then you take a selfie to create your face template. And then basically you can leave your phone at home after that point. You don't need your phone to go shopping with PayByFace at the merchant tablets. The value proposition is faster checkout. Of course, digital receipts, just like when you're done taking an Uber, you get your email of the trip. The same thing happens with PayByFace. Again, the frictionless reward system, which really helps merchants know their customer. And then we're building a click and collect in-app e-commerce platform so the merchants can extend their in-store product lines into a e-commerce in-app purchase platform as well that we offer them. So it reduces risks, it increased safety because you're not touching anything, and the merchants get really great tools to remarket to their to their customers. So we built some great merchant dashboards so that can visualize their transactions. We have our internal CRM dashboard, proprietary CRM, to manage our entire network, and sort of like a sales force that we've built internally. And then we have really cool system admin dashboards where we can view the activity on the network, visualize our whole dashboard, our whole system. Our traction so far this year, we launched our very first coffee shop in Bucharest, Romania in February, right before the lockdown. And the iPad ran for about 3 weeks. And we also got accepted into the Startup Bootcamp Accelerator program in Amsterdam and the Visa Innovation Program in Bulgaria that we did through COVID. So we were thick and thin, thick through the whole pandemic, trying to come out with a payment solution, and actually the pandemic accelerated this contactless solution. As we all know, it's moving that way. Since then, we've launched 6 more live locations in Bucharest, Tucano Coffee, pharmacies in Bucharest, and even a beach bar right on the Black Sea. And then we won Raiffeisen Factory Startup Factory Winner, which gave us 50,000 European bridge loan from Raiffeisen Factory. Right now, we're scaling up more locations. Actually, today we signed 6 new eyeglass shops in Bucharest that want our iPads, and it's pretty cool because now we can do VR, trial on the iPads too, and then you can basically click and collect, some sunglasses at checkout. So we're going to be launching the Bulgaria market, the Amsterdam market, and we're looking for our seed round investment. For Q4, we're targeting some milestones in the Romania marketplace to launch and get to 100 locations by the end of the year, live, up and running. We want to increase our user base, the actual PayByFace users shopping on the network, test different business models that we came out of the accelerator programs to try to define scalability on them. And of course, finalize our business plan. We have active pilots with Raiffeisen Bulgaria and Bank ABC in Bahrain. with finalizing also at Alpha Team and First Abu Dhabi Bank in the Middle East to launch pilot projects in the Middle East as well. And the rest of the year, we want to improve our app design, do the virtual try-on, improve liveliness detection for our face recognition algorithms, and improve the e-commerce conversion workflows in the app. So basically, we want to build a SME merchant network in Romania as our first market validation case study. And we have a merchant offer, an introductory merchant offer. So for a merchant, we give them a free iPad, and we give them 500 credit towards their card processing fees. So merchants are going to love this thing because it's going to save them money to continue doing business. We're testing the business models I mentioned. We have a digital out-of-home advertising network business model. I built some of the largest digital out-of-home networks in the early 2000s in the States. I had 300 screens across California, Texas, and Seattle. So I know the digital out-of-home business really well. We're testing the subscription model for the merchants to get access to the dashboards and analytics and management tools. And then we have the pay-as-you-go for publishing offers in the app and for the click and collect that the merchants can publish their merchandise in the app. Preliminary assessment, we want to raise a seed round of 750K euros to complete the pilot projects and extend to the 100 iPads in Romania by the end of the year. And then get ready for Series A next year. We have a very experienced leadership team. I myself come from over 20 years of enterprise product development and serial entrepreneurship all over the world. I've launched companies in India, Canada, Mexico, US, Europe now. Our top management team come from investment banking, from global marketing, from business finance, technology adoption, and sales. And our advisors, Rishi and Srijit. Rishi comes from Switzerland at F10. He's very entwined in the fintech world. And Srijit comes from Tech Mahindra. He's a top-level executive at Tech Mahindra for the Americas region. And our mentors and investors, being part of the Startup Bootcamp and the Visa Innovation Ventures, and the Tech Ventures in Romania, which was our initial angel investor in Bucharest. So I'm excited to share more about PayByFace and what we want to do in Europe. And let's join forces and let's take payments beyond the transaction. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your pitch. It was great to hear you. So the first question, I knew it's going to be like this. Yes. The first question, can you handle twins? How accurate is your system? Because Apple has already crashed.
Yes, so we can handle twins. We have the pin on glass feature. And so one of the unique architecture systems, that's why I've been working at PayByFace for 3 years. It took me almost 2 years. I talked to all the banks in Romania. I pitched, to the banks for about 2 years trying to figure out, GDPR, PSD2, open banking, strong customer authentication, all of that. So we have an active pilot with Raiffeisen in Bulgaria. So we've vetted all of that through the banking system. And basically, twins are differentiated with the pin on glass feature, but also we have a decentralized face recognition database. And so what that means is I'm only matching you against your neighbors, not against the whole world. It'd be kind of silly if you want to buy a cup of coffee, you got to be unique against the whole world. That'd be ridiculous. So we basically I built a system in 2 years that is a on-demand biometric data distribution system that can just deploy your face templates whenever the user wants to the iPads in your area to be recognized. And so this has elevated our accuracy to almost 99% in under 1 second matching time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about safety issues not to be charged somewhere in public or unexpectedly by a crook with a laptop or mobile?
So as I mentioned, we have several proprietary fraud prevention mechanisms, including geofencing, and tokenization with the digital ID. Part of strong customer authentication, you have to be proximity to the actual device. You have to be present there on the spot. You're actually standing in front of the clerk. So committing fraud is going to be very tricky. And then basically we hook into the traditional e-commerce gateway. So when you're using PayByFace in a shop, it's as if you logged into their website on a laptop and bought from their website. That's the same thing that happens on PayByFace. So we're not transferring money. We're not a PSP. We don't need to be regulated. We don't store credit cards. We don't touch the money. We don't do settlement. We're not a bank. I'm not at Revolut. So I'm just facilitator. I basically elevated a basic login into a digital biometric, ID, tied that into a tokenization for Visa, MasterCard under 3DS Secure, and then using the strong customer authentication guidelines for Europe to facilitate the entire payment process.
Mm-hmm. I should say that you're the only startup who is going to get, I guess, all the technical questions.
Yeah, that's okay, no problem. And absolutely, I can cover technical deep dive after this because I'm not going to be able to tell you everything in 5 seconds. So it's a very complicated system.
Yeah. Next question: what's your secret sauce in terms of technology? Apple Face is struggling in terms of false positives using through that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we have a secret know-how, and this is sort of also our IP strategy is to do the Coca-Cola formula, keep it in a safe, because we've basically found the secret formula on how to build a global true payment like Alipay is done in China. Except in China, there's no regulation. You can do whatever right? They can do whatever they want. They don't have GDPR. They don't have PSD2. They don't have any of these things that we do in Europe. We're built in Europe. I architected PayByFace over 2 years specifically for GDPR and PSD2 and strong customer authentication. So our secret sauce is the core system underneath that I built, which only matches you against your neighbors. So in that case, our accuracy is, like I mentioned, it's over 99% at under 1% matching rate, and it's done locally on the iPad in real time.
Okay.
And I can do demos. I can show you guys if you want demos.
The next one, can you help to compete with large companies working on this, Amazon Go, WeChat, or Alipay facial recognition technologies?
Yeah, so we're basically trying to compete on a regional basis. So we have a trademark, PayByFace, make purchases with your selfie, registered with EU IPO. And so our primary regional competitive advantage is that we are here in Europe, and we were built for GDPR. And as I mentioned, strong customer authentication and all of that. So Alipay, in Europe, it's going to be very difficult to send, your payments data to China. As we've all seen, there's already bans. You can't even send data. Facebook is getting ready to pull out of Europe because they won't be able to send data from Europe citizens to the US. So that's a serious issue that we architected this 2 years ago to be able to do business in Europe without any problems. So that is our main competitive driver against Alipay, WeChat, and Amazon Go.
Mm-hmm. Next question: how does it handle photo or picture?
So we don't actually use the photo or picture. The technology partner that's doing the face recognition core system for us is a partner that we've vetted over 2.5 years. We're bringing them onto our cap table. So they have 3 patents around this, around their engine, and I vetted almost all of the high-end face recognition systems, and picked this one because it's the most customizable, extendable, and scalable architecture for face recognition. And so it works exactly what we need. And basically what's happening is when you take the selfie, it's not storing a photo. It's encrypting that photo into 70 facial recognition points on your face. And those points are turned into basically a numerical, hash biometric data, which is just, just like tokenizing a credit card. It's the same basic thing. So even if you've got access to those biometric template data sets on the iPad, and you somehow, decrypted it, you're just going to end up with a bunch of decrypted data because it doesn't mean anything and it's not an actual photo. So that's the only reason. That's actually improving our scalability because I don't need to move photos around. I don't need a global database of everyone's photo like the police has or like these mass surveillance systems have, like IBM and all these things. That's the whole point, is we decentralized that and we took the photos out, and I'm just basically playing with numbers.
Mm-hmm. The next question is, sorry, I missed how much I'm raising now.
How much are we raising? So that was, I believe in my slide, we're raising a seed round for 750,000 euros to execute the pilots and to extend the Bucharest market to 100 locations. We actually have already 80 iPads that we bought through the Raiffeisen factory loan. So we have 80 iPads physically ready to go, and basically we need the team. We have 3 people already in Bucharest executing on the strategy, but it'd be nice to have 10, right? And just scale up now. And I'm in Amsterdam. Part of our co-founding team is in Switzerland. My CFO, who's also on the call, Emanuele, he's in Paris, and then the rest of the team is in Bucharest. So we basically want to scale up now. Through the accelerator programs, we found the repeatable, scalable business plan. So now we need the funding to execute the pilots, collect the data, market validation, prove that people are going to do this over and over and over. And once you go to PayByFace, you never go back. And actually, we have the regional director of Alior Bank in Romania is our #1 customer. This guy goes like 2 or 3 times a week to Tucano Coffee and pays with his face for his morning cup of coffee. So it's working.
Okay, and the very last, two very last questions. Okay, so what do you think about broad acceptance of this technology in the EU?
I think it's going to happen because of the fact that we are very transparent. We're working with Visa 11 Ventures and Visa Innovation Team. We're working with Raiffeisen. We have EU attorneys in Bucharest. We've vetted all of the technology landscape from a PSD2 and a payments and a banking perspective through the accelerator programs earlier this year to prevail. And that's the whole idea here. Is we wanted to build this in microservices, decoupled architecture, modular design, to where I can plug and play gateways. I could plug and play the whole face recognition core system, and nothing would affect the PayByFace architecture. So coming from 20 years of enterprise, corporate enterprise engineering, I used all the knowledge in my toolbox to build this so that it'll last. Because usually the unicorn is the last one standing, and that's the idea here. So I think it's going to happen, because of the fact that we gave the users full control over their data. For example, when you get home, you can turn it off. You can turn off your PayByFace wallet when you get home, and it deletes all your data. And then when you leave in the morning, you can turn it back on. You can't do that with any wallet today that exists on the market, especially not credit cards.
Okay, and the very last question. iPad is an expensive device for POS. Is there a business case?
Yeah, so this is just an introductory offer. Clearly, we want to have a wow product, right? When we installed Tucano Coffee in Bucharest was our second location. When we installed that on a Friday a few months ago, ProTV, the national news station of Romania, called us on Monday and said, we're putting you on the 7 o'clock news. This is amazing. And so that's what we want to do, an impact. These 100 iPads, it's clearly a big investment. And our application, as you can see in the photo behind me, it'll run on Android. I can put PayByFace on drones and deliver you pizza, scan your face, take your payment, and take the drone out of there. So it's platform agnostic. And that's the beauty. Also compared to, Apple Pay and Google Pay and all those things, those platforms are tied to their platforms. With mine, I can install it anywhere and it works just the same. It's platform agnostic.
Okay.